All right. Hey YouTube, how y'all doing today? It's Chris Cornaris here, the cryptocurrent team, bringing you another piece of excellent content as we continue breaking down the 11 most basic questions in cryptocurrency. Past few videos, we covered everything ranging from what is crypto to should the average investor get involved, what are some of its biggest problems, etc. Now, in that video covering some of the most biggest problems, I mentioned that a lot of times people like to bring up the fact that criminals use it, they're laundering money, and that's why we shouldn't use it. And I pointed out at the time actually that a study was done. This wasn't even anything too comprehensive. It was just discovered that far more criminal enterprises are using US dollars to actually conduct illegal activities than they are cryptocurrency. We're going to get a little into that in today's video because we are going to be trying to answer the question, why are criminals using crypto? But before I spoil some of that content, I do want to remind you all that if you enjoyed today's content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. It does really help us out. We get a jump on the algorithm, and it lets us know that you like the content so we can keep bringing you the most exciting and engaging content for you to consume. Now, I do want to remind you, of course, that if there's content you haven't seen yet and that you do want to see in the future, you can leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to answer. And maybe you'll even see your comment pop up in a future video. But without further ado, we're going to dive right in and pick up where I just left off. As I was saying, more US dollars are used to conduct illegal activities than there are crypto. And a big reason for that is how blockchain fundamentally works, right? It is very traceable. You can go through and you can see every transaction conducted with a piece of the currency, right? So it's easy to track. There are some complexities to it in terms of the pseudo anonymity around it, right? Like being essentially anonymous. Of course, you can really dive in and figure it out, but it, there's a little more work that is involved, right? And so that is a big argument in why people think, criminals use it. We shouldn't allow it because of that. Well, today, quite a few of these answers are actually going to kind of debunk that myth, right? And up first, we have Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin billionaire. And his answer to this question is just another question, and that is, why do criminals use cars and telephones? I love the analogy, and you're going to hear more about it straight from the man himself right now.
I don't agree that they are. I think that's another myth. I'll note that in every cops and robber movie, there's a car chase. And so I just throw the thing back at you. Why do you think criminals use cars and telephones? And why do they eat food before they always break the law? And should we ban these things? It's kind of a silly notion. People use technology because it works. It's good monetary technology, but certainly 99.999% of all the money in a crime is fiat currency over the history of mankind, not crypto.
Well, I hope you liked his answer. I thought it was a great analogy that really put some things in perspective. Up next, we have Caitlin Long, the CEO of Avanti and a former Wall Streeter herself. And she said, and I love this answer, that US dollars are truly anonymous, right? Good old fashioned $100 bills. Can't really trace those now, can you? And I could go on and on about how much I agree and why this is such a fantastic answer, but instead I'm going to leave that up to the expert herself, and I'll see y'all shortly.
Criminals are using the US dollar a lot more frequently than they're using cryptocurrencies. The mainstream media loves to paint the ransomware attacks as tied to cryptocurrencies, but the truth is the criminals will use whatever is available to them. And interestingly, some of the most recent, very, very public attacks have been solved by law enforcement because Bitcoin is traceable. There's a public ledger. You can trace Bitcoin transactions forever. Every Bitcoin transaction is out there on the public blockchain forever. It's done in such a way to obscure who's using it, but there are analytics firms that enable the transactions to be traced to an IP address. And if you can trace it to an IP address, law enforcement generally can connect it to a person. So it is not true that cryptocurrencies are anonymous. US dollar cash, good old fashioned $100 bills are anonymous. And that's why you see a lot more crime committed with those than you do with Bitcoin.
All right. Welcome back. And finally, Up next, again, a guy that we've loved to feature in these videos. Excellent answers. He has the resume to back up his knowledge. David Yermak, an NYU Stern School of Business professor. He says, and something I mentioned earlier, right, is that crypto tends to leave footprints. Now, I'm sure you want a little more context to what that actually means, so I'm going to pass things off to David as he continues to answer this question for y'all.
I think scammers and criminals are attracted to it because it's irreversible, that once coins are moved to the wallet of the criminal, they can't really be reclaimed by law enforcement and so forth. So it's really the robustness of the system that attracts people. It's worth noting two other things, though, that the regular money is also used by scammers all the time. In fact, there's quite a bit more scamming with regular US dollars than there is with Bitcoin. And cryptocurrency tends to leave footprints, that your activity on the blockchain exposes you to surveillance by law enforcement in a way that the regular financial system maybe won't. So I think many of the people who do use cryptocurrency are probably overconfident that they're going to be able to get away with it.
Well, that's going to about do it for us today here on the Cryptocurrent channel. Again, my name is Chris Cornaros. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. But until next time, which is tomorrow, I'm Chris Cornaros, and I hope y'all are staying cryptocurrent.